How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Week 2 preseason is upon us. The Giants will play the Bears tomorrow. And today, I'm just going to give you my top 5 things that I'm going to be looking at going into Week 2 and going into this game against the Bears. But first, a few cuts the Giants made yesterday that I just quickly want to review for you. So it looks like Ryan Anderson, the backup punter, was cut yesterday by the Giants. Not a huge surprise here. I believe he was just signed more so for competition for starting punter Riley Dixon, who had a great season in blue last year. The good news is he was cut early on, early in going into week 2. So there's a lot of time for him to find a new job with another team. Hope nothing but the best for him. But second, kind of an interesting story here. If you follow Matt Lombardo on Twitter, or really any other Giants insider, you would have heard the story about Scott Simonson. So originally, Scott Simonson was cut, and I was a bit shocked. He's a veteran tight end for us who's been on the team for quite a few seasons now, and the report came out that he was cut. My initial thought was that CJ Conrad, the rookie tight end out of Kentucky, might have been a contributor towards this. He's having a good camp, and maybe they were just looking for some younger talent. About 5 minutes after that report came out, a report came out saying that it was a bookkeeping issue with Scott Simonson's contract, where his current contract didn't transfer over for the new year, for the new season. But long story short, he is still on the Giants. He was released to then be re-signed to us. NBC Sports reporting this morning that he has re-signed a new contract with us, which is great. Again, just a confusing situation. Scott Simonson's still on the team. Ryan Anderson has been cut. But that's all the updates for now. I'm going to keep you up to date on all cuts the Giants make during this entire preseason process. But now let's hop into my top 5 things that I'm going to be looking for in week 2. Number 5, Reggie White Jr. and TJ Jones. Yes, there is a new junior wearing number 13 in New York. Not Odell Beckham Jr., Reggie White Jr. Both of these guys really broke out in week 1 of preseason, had some really nice plays. Reggie White Jr. actually had 4 receptions for 60 yards. And TJ Jones, 6 receptions, 72 yards, and an amazing back shoulder touchdown catch on 3rd and 7. Loletta put a nice ball. Not sure if it was meant to go to the back shoulder. It looked like he was going over top, but the throw ended up being back shoulder. Either way, beautiful catch by TJ Jones. Both of these guys, they looked excellent. I really love to see young talent, new receivers coming in, getting an opportunity in preseason. I really hope to see them get some more reps in week 2, hopefully with that first team. Either way, with all the injuries going on, obviously Corey Coleman out for the season. Amba Edito, as I reported in a previous video, he injured his Achilles. He's going to be out for the season. Golden Tate, there's going to be that 4-game period during the regular season where he's ineligible to play due to that suspension. Sterling Shepard, health of that thumb is kind of up in the air at this point. So it's huge to see a couple young guys like this on the field, making plays, looking great. As long as they keep performing and progressing, I don't see why they don't make the 53-man roster. Obviously, with the receiving core that we have, they might not be instant starters, but just to be on that roster, have that opportunity would be great, and they're looking amazing. A few other receivers who had some nice plays. Alonzo Russell, big 39-yard catch, which was great. And then Russell Shepard on a 2nd and 9 from the Giants 49. Huge slant route that he took all the way to the house for a touchdown. So mainly in week 2, definitely be on the lookout for Reggie White Jr. and TJ Jones. Number 4, Ryan Connelly and Jake Carlock. Talk about a couple of guys who hustle on every play, and they're taking advantage of every opportunity that they're given in preseason currently. Connelly probably had more airtime than any Giant on the field, including quarterbacks. It just seemed like every time the ball was downed, every time there was a tackle made, it was either Connelly tackling the ball carrier, assisting with the tackle, or he's right there backing up the people that are tackling the ball carrier. Every time you look up, you saw 57 on your screen, and that's awesome. Coaches love that. Coaches love the hustle, 100% on every play. And then in regards to Carlock, literally taking advantage of every single snap. Every single snap, every time he was on the field, he was making a play. It was incredible to watch. You know, if you don't already know, Jake Carlock, lifetime Giants fan, an undrafted rookie this season. He is listed as a defensive back, but they kind of spread him out all over the field. But he was making play after play. He came up with 1 tackle, 1 sack, and had an amazing interception that he actually deflected at the line of scrimmage and took all the way for 6. You know, guys like Connelly, guys like Carlock, you know, Connelly a 5th round pick, Carlock, as I said, undrafted. There's no guarantees that they make this 53-man roster. You know, it is a long shot for them. And efforts like this, if they continue, they're going to make the coaching decision on who makes that 53-man roster very, very difficult. Carlock actually talked about this post-game, you know, and talked about how difficult it might be for him to make the squad. His interview post-game was actually with Elite Sports New York, and he was quoted as saying, "I think it's all about effort. I'm not the biggest, I'm not the strongest. I can control how fast I can go, so every play I'm going to give 100%. You know, I'm going to leave a link to that full article in the description below. The Carlock story is truly inspirational, and I definitely want you to check that out. Number 3, do we have a run game outside of Saquon Barkley? Obviously, we know Saquon Barkley is a monster among men, but even a monster needs a rest every now and again. The Giants' rushing attack, if you can even call it an attack, was just terrible. Between Gallman, Perkins, and the newly acquired former Cowboy Rod Smith, they rushed for a combined 34 yards on 15 attempts. You don't have to be a football expert to know those numbers. Just over 2 yards per carry is not going to cut it this season. Outside of Gallman's 9-yard run on a 2nd and 5 for a first down, the rushing attack was completely shut down. For once, I'm actually not going to be blaming the offensive line for the running woes. There were several occasions where they're opening up holes, especially for Gallman. They're right there, and he's not taking it. He's doing a jump cut to the outside rather than taking the hole, and just terrible. If you want to see a good example of this, former Giant Sean O'Hara, offensive lineman, had a beautiful breakdown that he did on his Twitter. So I'll definitely leave a link to that as well in the description if you want to see a visual example of what I'm talking about. That's just not going to cut it. We need somebody that can back up Saquon Barkley. He can't do it on his own, even though the majority of last season he did do it on his own. Early in preseason, I know it is just a focus to get the offensive linemen to hit their assignments and for the running backs to work through the process, but that's not going to cut it. That's the running back's responsibility to find that hole and hit the hole when it opens up. So in week 2, I'm going to be keeping a close eye on the running backs and seeing if they are finding those holes better. I'm sure the film breakdown from week 1 was not fun in the running backs room, so definitely keep an eye out for that as well. Number 2, pass blocking success. It finally looks like the Giants' offensive line troubles are in the past. The core group really are beginning to gel well together. They gave the quarterbacks plenty of time. They made Tanny, Laletta, Jones, they made them look great. Was it perfect? No, but clearly a step in the right direction. Throughout the game, quarterbacks had time in the pocket, check all of their reads, and throughout the game only let up 1 sack. Compared to last year, that is amazing. That is music to my ears. I really feel like the addition of Zeitler was huge for us. He really seems to solidify this line and really brought the core group of guys together. Even the revolving door, known as Mike Remmers, who still sees Von Miller in his dreams, in his nightmares, put on a great performance. He seems to have put that Super Bowl 50 disaster behind him, which is nice to see. Having John Jalapeno back, That is awesome. That is going to be huge for us. He has transitioned over to center, but he's a veteran guy. He really is starting to show seniority in the locker room and bringing the other guys under his wing, which is nice to see. And I'm fully expecting Will Hernandez this season to show why the Giants took a guy out of UTEP with an early second-round pick. So I'm looking forward to seeing this core group, the starting guys on the line once again, and even the backups looking good in week 2. And number 1, Daniel freaking Jones. Put his name in the Ring of Honor, fit him for that gold jacket, make some room in Canton. Daniel Jones has arrived. Feels so good to say it. In all seriousness, Daniel Jones, obviously my number 1 looking into week 2. He's pretty much been the biggest topic of discussion, not only within Giants community, but outside as well, coming out of that week 1 victory against the Jets. Jones was flawless. What else can you say? He went 5 for 5, 67 yards, and capped that drive off with a beautiful 12-yard touchdown pass to Benny Fowler. He put the ball on numerous occasions in spots where only his receiver can get it. Pinpoint precision passing. He looked incredible. You know, capping off that drive with a touchdown, you could see the excitement from the entire team. Everyone coming up to him, everyone looking excited, because they understand the criticism that came along with him being picked at number 6. Even me, I show you here, I tweeted "not my quarterback" seconds after the Giants drafted him at number 6. The frustration was Giants nationwide. But coming out of week 1, a lot of that went away. He looked great. He looked like he can handle a pro setting. You know, a guy coming out of Duke, you don't hear much about players coming out of Duke. Not for football anyway. So big for him to get that weight off of his shoulders, but now he's got to go back out and he's got to prove it. I understand this is preseason, along with the other numbers on my top 5 list. You know, it's preseason. I understand it's not the level of competition that's going to be there in the regular season. But hey, let's take the positivity while we can, right? I definitely want to see more of him going into week 2. Hopefully more than just 1 drive. I think the delay because of the lightning might have had an effect on that in week 1. So hopefully we can see more of Daniel Jones in week 2. But this is positive. He looked very sharp, and I really hope it continues for him. Thank you guys so much for watching. That is my top 5 things I'm going to be looking for going into week 2 game versus the Bears. Shout off in the comments. Let me know what you're looking forward to in this game. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. And if you want to see more content from me, please subscribe to the channel. I have picked up Madden 20, so please expect some content coming out with that in the near future. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one, guys.